Hey guys, so in this tutorial video I'm going to be going through this coding interview question. So we're being asked, implement an algorithm for the MS Paint brush tool. I'm going to assume that you guys know some basic C++, so for loops and bools, and we're also going to be talking about queues. Alright, so let's get started. So basically how this brush tool works is, so we click on this pixel right here, and this is sort of how our grid gets filled in. So this grid being our image, if we come in with our brush tool and click on this particular pixel, we get sort of this radius of pixels colored in. Alright, so the way we want to tackle this question is, first of all, we want to figure out our parameters, right? So if we have our paint function here, change that to C++. First of all, we have our 2D grid of pixels, as I mentioned before. And when we click on this particular pixel, we have a X position and a Y position. Also, two more parameters would be brush radius, so sort of the width of our brush tool, as well as the color. All right? Next, we want to think of sort of a general overview of the algorithm, or how we're going to go about coloring this structure right here. All right, so one way to think about it is, so when we click on this particular pixel, this current row gets filled in exactly according to the radius. So say that our radius here is 3, right? So this pixel gets filled in, and then 3 pixels to the right and 3 pixels to the left also get filled in. So basically exactly according to the radius. Alright, so current row. So that's going to look something like this. Alright, so we're basically iterating through from 0, so the center pixel, all the way through to the radius. So in this case that's 3. So what we're doing is we're painting each pixel to the right, here, and then to the left. So X position plus I and the X position minus I, all the way to 3. So all those pixels in this row get filled in. Alright, so that takes care of this row right here. Next, we're going to paint the levels above and below current row, kind of simultaneously, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. So we're going to need a queue for this to all work out. And what we're going to do is we're going to push the top level, so take our Y position, increment it by 1, and push this row right here. And we're going to do the same for the bottom level. Alright, so why am I doing this? If you notice here, each level above and below our current row corresponds in terms of the radius, so how many pixels are filled in, right? And also another thing to notice is that the radius, so our radius is 3 here, the radius decrements by 1 each time we go up or down a level. Alright, so we're going to basically take advantage of that in filling in the rest of our little brush structure here. Alright, so I'm going to make a little counter so we know how much or what the radius is at any given level. And then the bulk of this is going to be contained in this while loop. So the upper level, we pop off the queue, so that basically gets this guy right here, this guy. And we're also going to get the bottom level. Alright, and from here we're basically going to paint one row up and then one row down. So we're going to iterate through our current radius, kind of like up here, and basically this is going to look like this. Alright, so we're painting one row up, so we're painting this guy all the way through. Pixels to the right, pixels to the left, and same with this guy down here. This. Alright, same dealio as this, pretty much. Okay. Another thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we push the next level so that we move on to this level after we do these two corresponding levels. Get the lower level too. Alright. And then lastly, we got to decrement the radius here. Alright. And, oh, so last thing is we gotta implement this paint pixel. So this guy's gonna take in our grid, X position, Y position, and the color. So this is basically gonna be to paint each individual pixel. I basically type these stubs up here, and now I have to actually implement it. Alright, so that's gonna look a little something like this. Right? So it's basically we're doing a simple bounce check. We're making sure that it's not the Y position isn't below the grid, and it doesn't go above it either. And same with the X position, that it doesn't. It's between the 0 and the width of the board, and we're just assuming that we're given height and width. You know, if this is in a bigger class, or we're just assuming that we get these. All right. So that's how to implement the MS Paint brush tool, and this is roughly in C++. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.